Welcome to the Explainer. Sometimes the biggest stories aren't just one big headline. They're hidden in a bunch of different news items that all drop on the same day. And that's exactly what we're doing today. We're going to connect the dots from just a single day in tech to show you this massive story that's unfolding all around us about our new AI-driven world. All right, let's just dive right in. Look, the big question on everyone's mind is AI going to be our helpful colleague, a tool that makes us better at our jobs? Or is it a competitor, something that's here to flat out replace us? Well, what's so wild is that the news from just one day gives us some really powerful arguments for both sides of that coin. So let's start with that first piece of evidence. This one tackles the replacement question head on. And believe me, this story sent some serious shockwaves through the entire tech industry. 1,000. That's how many people the Snapchat company, announced they were laying off on April 15th. I mean, that's a huge number on its own, right? But the reason why, well, that's what really matters here. So let's break down these numbers, because they really do tell the story. This wasn't just some small trim. We're talking 16% of their entire global workforce. The whole move was designed to save them over $500 million a year. And get this, the market's reaction? Snap stock actually went up. Investors loved it. They saw it as a clear sign the company was getting serious about profits. And if there was any doubt about why, well, here's the confirmation, straight from the top. The CEO, Evan Spiegel, he didn't beat around the bush at all. He came right out and said it was because of rapid advancements in artificial intelligence. He made it crystal clear that AI's efficiency is what gave them the green light to, shrink their human workforce. So here's the thing you got to understand. This isn't just about Snap. Not at all. This could literally be the blueprint for all sorts of companies that are looking to slash costs and ramp up their efficiency. What happened at Snap, it might just be the first domino in a much, much bigger, more disruptive trend that's about to hit the whole tech world and probably everywhere else too. Okay, but hold on, that's only one side of the story. So let's flip the coin over. On the very same day, we got news that points in the complete opposite direction about how AI is being built to become our absolute can't-live-without-it partner. Right, so Google announced they're basically baking their Gemini AI right into the Chrome browser. They're calling this new feature Skills, and the whole idea is to stop you from having to go to a separate chatbot website. Instead, it becomes this seamless assistant that's just there with you all the time as you browse the web. So how does it actually work? It's pretty cool. Let's say there's a prompt you use all the time, something like, summarize this article for me. You can just save that prompt as a skill, and boom, it becomes a little button right there in your toolbar. Then, whenever you're on any web page, you just click that button, and Gemini instantly spits out an answer based on whatever's on your screen. Super simple. And you can see right away how useful this could be, right? Like, imagine you're shopping online. One click, and you're comparing prices across different sites. Or you're staring at some super long research paper. Boom, instant summary. It really does start to blur that line between just a web browser and a true AI assistant in a way that you'd actually use every single day. Now, when you put this up against what everyone else is doing, Google's game plan becomes pretty obvious. I mean, they're putting this deep integration into the world's #1 browser, they're giving it away for free, and they're making it one-click simple. That is a massive competitive advantage. And Google's push to make AI your best buddy doesn't just stop at the browser. On that exact same day, they also announced they were rolling out Gemini's personal intelligence features to one of their biggest markets on the planet, India. Okay, now this is where things get really, really powerful. This feature lets Gemini tap into all your personal Google stuff. It can find your flight details in Gmail, dig through your Google Photos to find a specific memory, or even look at your search history to figure out what you're into. It's no longer just a generic chatbot. It's becoming a truly personal assistant. Of course, having all this personal data linked up creates a huge new challenge, right? Security. And that brings us to our next front. It's one you might not see every day, but it is absolutely critical. The escalating digital arms race happening in cybersecurity. Check out this number, $482 million. That is the insane amount of money that was lost to hacks and scams in the Web3 world. Crypto, decentralized apps, all that stuff. And that was just in the first 3 months of this year. And if you look at this chart, it tells you exactly where the real problem is. The biggest chunk of that, over 63%, it wasn't from some genius hacker breaking super complex code.
Nope. It was from phishing and social engineering. Basically, just tricking people. The biggest weakness wasn't the technology, it was the person using the technology.
So, how in the world do you fight back against attacks that target people? Well, OpenAI has a new weapon. It's a specialized AI model that's been trained specifically for cybersecurity. You can kind of think of it like a digital bloodhound, sniffing out threats and helping security teams defend our networks. What this AI does is give the human defenders some serious superpowers. It can tear apart malicious code at crazy speeds. But here's the most important part. It can proactively hunt for weaknesses in a system before the bad guys even get a chance to find them. It's about getting ahead of the attack.
And this whole digital arms race, it's not just about protecting our bank accounts. It's also about protecting, well, fairness. The battlefield is even expanding to online gaming. Apparently, the developer Valve is building its own AI to take on the massive problem of cheating in its games. And the key thing to get here is how this completely changes the game. See, old school anti-cheat systems, they just look for known cheat programs. But in AI, it can analyze a player's behavior. It can spot patterns that just look off, suspicious. Even if the cheat they're using is brand new and nobody's ever seen it before, it's just a way smarter, more flexible kind of defense.
All right, so we've looked at layoffs, we've looked at personal assistants, and we've looked at these new digital battlefields. So what's the big takeaway from all this news that happened in just one single day?
Well, the main thing is that these stories are not separate things. They're all just different points on the same map. And that map is showing us a world that is being completely rebuilt from the ground up by AI. We're talking about the company you work for, the web browser you use every day, even the games you play for fun. AI is basically becoming the new operating system for our lives.
And all of this leaves us with one last really critical question. The evidence from just one day in tech proves this stuff isn't some far-off future we have to worry about in a few decades. It is happening right now, in real time. So the real question isn't what's going to happen anymore. The question is, are we ready for what's already here?